All right, everyone, let's dive in. Today, we're tackling scrap metal operative interviews.
Oh, that's a good one. These folks are like the backbone of recycling, right? Turning all that metal scrap into something we can actually use.
Exactly. And to help us prep, we've got some awesome resources from RoleCatcher. Their career guide, skill guides, and like a massive 120,000 interview questions.
Wow, that's a lot of questions.
It is. Plus, they use AI to give personalized feedback. Joining us is an expert who knows this industry inside and out and how to nail those interviews.
Thanks. It's great to be here. I'm really excited to see more people interested in this field. There's a lot of potential there, especially with sustainability becoming such a big deal.
For sure. Before we jump into those interview questions, let's get a feel for the job itself. RoleCatcher's Scrap Metal Operative. The complete career guide paints a pretty intense picture. Fast-paced recycling facility, heavy machinery everywhere, using all sorts of tools to cut big sheets of metal ready for smelting.
Yeah, it's definitely not for everyone. You need technical skill, attention to detail, and a real commitment to safety.
Oh, that makes sense with all those potential hazards, heavy machinery, the noise, dust, maybe even chemicals.
Exactly. Safety's absolutely paramount.
Okay, let's get to those interview questions. RoleCatcher's Scrap Metal Operative, the complete career interview guide, has some really good ones. The first one's pretty straightforward. Can you tell us about your experience working with scrap metal?
This is your chance to really shine.
Yeah.
Don't just list off your old jobs. Show them you're passionate about metal, even if it's from hobbies or side projects. Did you ever build something cool out of scrap?
So, like, if I welded a sculpture in my garage using recycled parts, that counts.
Absolutely. Talk about the tools you use, the challenges, what you learned. It shows initiative
Hmm.
and resourcefulness. Employers love that.
Good to know. And hey, RoleCatcher's AI can actually analyze your answer and give feedback, right? You can tweak your wording, make it even better.
It's like having your own coach, helping you put your best foot forward.
All right, next question. How do you ensure that scrap metal is sorted correctly and efficiently?
This one's all about showing you know your stuff. Different metal types, their properties. Can you tell the difference between, say, ferrous and non-ferrous metals? How about identifying contaminants? Have you used sorting equipment like magnets or conveyor belts?
So, even volunteering at a recycling center or helping sort scrap for a community project would be helpful here.
Absolutely. And talk about any techniques you've used to streamline things, maybe a system for labeling containers or organizing the sorting area, anything that shows you're efficient and organized.
Got it. Now, this one's a big one. How do you ensure that safety protocols are followed when working with scrap metal? I'm guessing this is where knowing OSHA regulations and best practices comes in.
It's not just about knowing the rules, though. It's about that safety-first mindset. Think of a time you went above and beyond to make things safe, even if it meant stopping someone from taking a shortcut.
Oh, yeah, that's a great point. It shows you're not afraid to speak up, even when it's tough. And this is another one where RoleCatcher's AI can be super helpful, right? Record yourself answering, get feedback on your tone of voice, body language, all that.
Totally. It makes sure you're projecting confidence when you talk about safety, which is so important in this role.
All right, this next one always makes me nervous. Can you tell us about a difficult situation you faced while working with scrap metal and how you handled it? There's got to be a right way and a wrong way to answer this.
Choose a situation that shows your problem-solving skills and your ability to stay calm under pressure. Maybe a piece of equipment broke down, or you had a conflict with a coworker, or the workflow suddenly changed. Focus on the steps you took, how you communicated, and what you learned from it all.
So even if it didn't end perfectly, it's valuable to talk about how you approached it and what you learned.
Exactly. They want to see resilience, that you can learn and grow from challenges.
Okay, next question. How do you manage your time effectively when working with scrap metal? This one feels like it applies to any job, but I guess it's extra important in a fast-paced environment like this.
Think about the specifics of this role. You're juggling multiple tasks, right? Prioritizing orders, making sure everything runs smoothly. Do you use any tools or techniques to stay organized? Maybe a to-do list app, a scheduling system, or a specific method for prioritizing things?
I like the idea of breaking big tasks into smaller chunks, makes it less overwhelming.
Yeah, and mention how your time management benefits the team. Can you finish your tasks efficiently so others can move forward? Do you see potential bottlenecks and try to prevent them? Highlighting your contribution to the team's overall productivity is key.
Okay, this next one's specific. Can you tell us about your experience operating heavy machinery? Now, this is where I might need some help. I've driven a forklift a couple of times, but that's about it.
Honesty is always the best policy. If your experience is limited, acknowledge it, but then focus on your willingness to learn and those transferable skills. Have you operated other types of machinery, even if it wasn't heavy duty? Do you have a knack for mechanics? Are you comfortable with new technologies? Focus on those things.
So even if I haven't used the exact same machines, I can still show I can learn fast and adapt to new equipment.
Exactly. And if you have any certifications or licenses related to operating machinery, definitely mention those. It shows you're serious about safety and have a solid foundation. And remember, RoleCatcher's AI can give you feedback on your answers. They have specific prompts for different job roles, including Scrap Metal Operative.
That's great. It's like having a personalized guide helping you tailor your responses.
And speaking of tailoring, let's move on to a classic interview question. Can you tell us about a time when you had to work under pressure to meet a deadline?
Oh, this one always gets me thinking. It's like they're trying to see how you handle stress and, adversity.
They are. So pick a situation that showcases your resilience, your problem solving, how you stay focused under pressure. Ever pull an all-nighter to finish a project? Or handle a last-minute rush order? Or troubleshoot a technical problem under a tight deadline? Walk them through your process, the steps, the outcome.
So even if it wasn't ideal, it's about showing you stayed calm, focused, and productive under pressure.
Precisely. Highlight your ability to prioritize tasks, delegate if you need to, and keep a positive attitude when things get tough. You want them to see you as someone they can count on in a crunch.
I'm already feeling more confident. Okay, next question. Can you tell us about your experience working in a team environment? This one feels like a given, since most jobs involve some teamwork.
True, but don't just give a generic answer. The interviewer wants specifics about your collaboration, communication style, and conflict resolution. Think of times when you delegated tasks, motivated others, or resolved disagreements smoothly.
So instead of saying I'm a team player, I should give concrete examples of how I've contributed to a team's success.
Exactly. Show them you can listen, communicate clearly, and respect different perspectives. And if you've ever led a team, mention that. It shows initiative and responsibility.
Okay, ready for this one. Can you tell us about a time when you had to work with a difficult coworker or customer?
Conflict. I'd probably just try to avoid this question altogether.
I get it, but this question is key for judging your people skills and professionalism. They want to know how you handle tough situations and if you can stay cool and find solutions.
So even if it was uncomfortable, it's about showing I remain professional, respectful, and focused on finding a solution.
Exactly. Choose a time you successfully navigated a conflict, maybe a disagreement over a project or an unhappy customer. Focus on how you understood their perspective, communicated, and found common ground.
And if there is a positive outcome, I should definitely highlight that, showing I can turn a challenge into a learning experience. That's a great point. It shows maturity and diplomacy. Remember, you can practice with RoleCatcher's AI features. Their feedback can help you refine your delivery and make sure you sound calm, confident, and empathetic.
All right, last question for this part. How do you stay up to date with changes in the scrap metal industry? Gotta admit, I don't usually follow industry news.
That's okay. They're looking for your initiative, your desire to learn and grow. They want to see that you're not just after a job, but you're genuinely interested in the field.
So even if I'm not a scrap metal expert yet, I can still show I'm willing to learn and stay informed.
Absolutely. Talk about how you research online, read industry magazines, or go to events. Maybe mention courses you've taken or certifications you're working towards.
And if I've ever put a new technique or process into practice based on, best practices, I should highlight that, showing I'm always learning and improving.
That's a great way to connect your interest with actual results. It shows you're not just passively reading stuff, you're actually putting it to use.
Wow, this is already super helpful. We've tackled some tough questions, and I feel much more prepared. But there's still so much to cover.
Right. Join us in part 2, where we'll take these answers to the next level, weaving in those career insights and making your responses truly shine. Welcome back. We've covered some tough interview questions, but now it's time to add some depth to your answers. We're going to use those insights from RoleCatcher's Career Guide. It's all about showing them not just your skills, but how they fit into the bigger picture of the industry.
Right, like taking those basic answers and turning them into, masterpieces, strategically weaving in that industry knowledge and your career goals.
Exactly. Remember that positive employment outlook we talked about?
Yeah, the scrap metal industry's got a bright future.
That's not just a random fact, it's a powerful point you can work into your answers.
So instead of just saying, I'm a hard worker, I could say something like, I'm eager to contribute to this growing industry, especially with the increasing demand for sustainable practices.
Now you're talking. You've connected your drive to a bigger trend, showing them you're not just looking for any job, you're looking for a career.
That's a good point. The career guide also mentions continuous learning as being really important in this field. How can we show that in our answers?
Let's say they ask about your experience with cutting tools. Don't just list the tools you've used. Go a step further. Mention any training you've had, certifications you're going for, or even like self-directed learning.
So I could say I'm good with plasma cutters and shears, and I'm actually learning about laser cutting right now through some online courses. I think it's important to stay ahead of the curve in this industry.
Exactly. It shows you're proactive about your professional development, and employers really value that.
Okay, this next one's interesting. The guide talks about building a portfolio, like a showcase of your projects. Is that even possible for a scrap metal operative?
It might not be the usual way, but think about it. You're working with visual transformations. You take raw scrap and turn it into something usable. Why not document that?
Oh, I get what you mean. I could take before and after pictures of some tricky cuts I've made. Or maybe even put together a video of different projects I've worked on.
Exactly. You can highlight your precision, your efficiency, and your problem-solving skills. And guess what? RoleCatcher's AI can even help you here. Upload your portfolio and get feedback on how to make it even stronger.
Wow, they really have thought of everything. So how do we tie all these career insights back to those specific interview questions we talked about earlier?
It's about finding those natural connections. Let's take the question about working under pressure.
Okay, so instead of just describing a time I met a deadline, I could add something like, even when things are stressful, I never compromise on safety. It's important to follow those protocols not just for me, but for the whole team and the environment.
Perfect. You've shown you can handle stress, but you've also highlighted your commitment to safety and how it affects everyone.
What about the question about a difficult coworker? Can we fit some industry insights in there?
Absolutely. Let's say you disagreed on how to process a specific type of scrap. You could say, I used my knowledge of the different metal types and their properties to explain my reasoning, and we came up with a solution that was both efficient and safe.
That's clever. It shows you're not just trying to win an argument, you're trying to find the best solution for everyone.
Exactly. It shows you can solve problems within the context of the industry, and that's what they want to see.
I'm really starting to get this now. It's like we're putting together a puzzle. Each piece is a different part of the job. Your skills, your knowledge, your passion, and those key industry insights.
And when you put them together the right way, you create a complete picture, a story that shows why you're the perfect candidate.
This is making me realize that a good interview isn't just about answering questions. It's about telling a story, showing your passion, and how you fit into the whole world of scrap metal.
Exactly. And don't forget, RoleCatcher is there to support you. Their career guides and those AI-powered feedback tools are tailored for specific roles, like Scrap Metal Operative.
Speaking of tailoring, there's a section in the career guide called Scrap Metal Operative, Career Stages, that I think is really relevant. It lays out the typical responsibilities and even has example profiles for each stage, from entry level all the way up to lead.
This is where you think about where you want to go in your career and how to tailor your answers to match that. Are you just starting out and eager to learn? Or are you an experienced pro looking to take on more responsibility?
Okay, so if I'm a newbie, I should emphasize my willingness to learn, my eagerness to follow instructions, and my commitment to safety. Maybe highlight any experience I have assisting more senior operatives and my ability to learn new things quickly.
Exactly. But if you're going for a leadership role, you want to focus on your experience managing teams, delegating tasks, improving processes, and mentoring others.
This is really helpful. It's not just about showing off your skills, it's about making sure they align with the level you're applying for.
Right. And remember, research is key. Before your interview, check out their website, their mission statement, values, any recent news or press releases. The more you know about their goals and challenges, the better you can position yourself as the solution they've been looking for.
And don't forget their social media. It's a great way to get a sense of their company culture and the kind of personality they're looking for.
Great point. You want to make sure you're a good fit for the team, not just the role.
This deep dive is like a masterclass in interview prep. We've covered so much, and I feel so much more confident. But there's one more piece of the puzzle, and that's how to showcase your passion for sustainability. Join us for the final part, where we'll uncover how to make that passion shine through and really impress the interviewer. All right, welcome back for the final part of our deep dive on how to ace that scrap metal operative interview. We've talked about tackling those tough questions, weaving in your career goals, but there's one more thing that can make you really stand out.
Your passion for sustainability.
Yeah.
Exactly. We've touched on the environmental benefits of metal recycling, but how do we bring that passion to life during the interview?
It's about letting that genuine interest shine through. Think about the moments when you felt most connected to the purpose of this work. That feeling of turning waste into something valuable, knowing you're part of a circular economy.
Right. Those times when you realize you're not just doing a job, you're making a real difference.
Exactly. And those are the stories you want to share. Let's say they ask about your career goals. Instead of just saying, I want to move up in this field, you could say, I'm drawn to this industry because I'm passionate about sustainability. I see this as a career where I can make a real impact, contribute to a greener future.
I love that. It's not just personal ambition, it's a shared vision, like you're aligning your values with theirs.
Right. And it doesn't have to be just big statements. You can weave this passion into even simple questions.
Like when they ask about my experience with scrap metal. Exactly. Don't just list tasks. Talk about the feeling of knowing your work helped reduce waste, conserve resources. Share a story about a tough project where you reclaimed a lot of metal.
I never thought about it like that, but those little stories really make your work come alive, show you get the bigger picture.
And they make you memorable. Put yourself in the interviewer's shoes. They're seeing tons of candidates. Who are they going to remember? The one who just rattled off their resume or the one who told a story about saving the planet one piece of scrap at a time?
Okay, that's a powerful image. So it's not just saying, I care about the environment. It's showing how that care turns into action, real results.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to connect that passion to other parts of the job, like safety.
Oh, good point.
Yeah.
If they ask about my experience with safety protocols, I could talk about how important it is to handle and dispose of hazardous materials properly, not just to protect myself and my coworkers, but to protect the environment too.
Perfect. It shows you see how safety, sustainability, and responsible practices all fit together.
This is making me realize that showing my passion for sustainability isn't about checking boxes or giving the right answers. It's about showing that my values match the company's, that I'm genuinely committed to making a difference.
Absolutely. Be yourself. Let your enthusiasm show. You might even spark a conversation about their own sustainability initiatives. Connect on a deeper level.
That's so cool. By weaving your passion into your answers, you're not just answering questions, you're starting a conversation, building a connection.
And remember, RoleCatcher has been with you every step of the way, giving you the tools and resources to prepare.
From their career guides to those AI-powered feedback tools, they've really got it all.
So as you head into that interview, take a deep breath, believe in yourself, and let that passion for sustainability shine.
We hope this deep dive has given you the knowledge and the confidence you need to land that scrap metal operative job. Thanks for joining us, and best of luck in your search.